Job ain't finished. Job ain't finished. Make you come ready to go this next week.
How about those?
Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to the Four Guys in a Bar podcast, presented by Chiefs Blitz and sponsored by Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. If you're looking for a real estate expert, call Eric Haynes today at 816-729-3785. That's 816-729-3785. Now, here is your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and Hense Todd.
Welcome back to the next edition of Four Guys in a Bar, presented by ChiefsBlitz.com, your number one source for Chiefs news. I'm your host, Nick Athan, alongside my producer and partner extraordinary, Mr. Hense Todd, with Bow Tie Sports. You can check out his show every Saturday night at 6:30. They talk all things Kansas City sports. Hey, before we get started on today's show, let's talk about one of our sponsors who makes the wheels go round and round here at the Four Guys in a Bar podcast. Play now in Missouri. If you're looking for a great fantasy game, we've teamed up with UnderdogFantasy.com. You can play $5 and get $50. You can use the special promo code Chiefs Blitz. The game is available in 33 states. Check out the availability map. You must be 18, 19, or 21 years older to play, but it's an outstanding game. The app is very simple. You can deposit and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash for new customers, and make sure you use the Chiefs Blitz code, and so you can register to start playing this amazing game. Play Pick'em on Underdog. You can, with all your favorite NBA players, James, Curry, Ball, anybody and everybody who's in the NBA, you can play higher or lower. It is an amazing product. It's very simple to use. If I can do it, anybody can. And just make sure when you log on to UnderdogFantasy.com, make sure you use the code Chiefs Blitz. That's right. You can play now in Missouri, play 5 and get a $50 bonus for new customers. Make sure you use the promo code Chiefs Blitz. And you can also, new customers, they'll make a deposit and they'll give you up to $1,000 in bonus cash to play this incredible game. Remember, you got to be 18, 19, or 21 in certain states, but it's available in 33 states. You just want to make sure that you can play it. And if you do, you're going to have a great time. You can bet on your favorite teams, bet on your favorite players. Play the game, I meant, on your favorite teams and favorite players. But definitely would appreciate Underdog Fantasy very much for being our sponsor. And with that, I'm going to bring in the other members of the crew, Mr. Lou Montagna and Coach Andre Tillman. Gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you all had a great weekend.
What's happening? What's going on?
Just like that, magically, the bottom row appears.
The bottom row.
Right.
Let's go. Come on now. First weekend in like 6 months with no football. What the hell, man?
Emily said that to me yesterday. She goes, "There's no football today." And it's just like, it dawned on me. I was like, oh, that's depressing.
It's some football going on, but not in y'all lingo. It's some football going on.
What do we do now?
Yeah, what?
I like to give a shout out to the Sporting KC. That's some real football. Foot to ball. All right.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how good they are this year. I'm
very
skeptical.
They're one of the youngest teams in the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They picked up a stud, man. They picked up a stud from the Galaxy, man. A young stud, man. A young stud, man. Yeah, it's nice, man. Guys, phenomenal, man. I'm excited to see what they're gonna bring to the table this year. I'm excited, man.
Play the kids. It's about time. They played a lot of veterans over the last 10, 12 years, and it hasn't quite worked out. They do have an MLS Cup, both as the Sporting KC and as the KC Wizards. So it's definitely good to have. But Peter Vermees stepped down a little bit. No longer the general manager, and now it's just coaching. So we'll see what he's made of.
When does that season start?
I'm excited, man.
Technically, they're supposed to start tomorrow, but because of the weather, they pushed it to Wednesday. The Championships Cup, I think, is the first round, and then the regular season opens, I think, first week in March or end of February. I'm not sure which.
It should be in the first week of March, I think.
First week of March. Okay.
Yeah, man.
So we'll see.
So, but somebody in the chat said, "Dre, how good is DJ Humphrey?" Ken said.
I said he's all right.
We've heard
I said he's all right. He's all right.
We've heard about 30 different answers to that question over.
Yeah,
we'll
talk a lot about the offensive line today.
Hey, y'all did, and I'm only giving y'all what I've seen from my guys, man. He's okay.
And it changes every time. And how many snaps did he play?
Good question.
It was one game. What did he play? Like 20 snaps, maybe more.
And he failed at all of them.
I don't know if I'm not saying it was good, bad, or indifferent. Mostly indifferent. But
so what are you saying, Lou?
The biggest question is, and I don't even know if it is a question. If he really had shown them anything, he would have played, right? Yep. I mean, in the playoffs. Now, I don't know. I mean, he's kind of so far along in his career. It's not like, well, if he goes through the off-season program and everything else, we can get him up to speed. I don't think that's the case. So
I just don't think he was healthy enough. I'm
not going to say he sucked. I'm going to say he's okay.
Remove his name as an option at left tackle for the 25 season.
Ooh, okay, there you go.
There it is. Well, Lou broke it all the way down.
We're going to talk a lot about We're going to talk a lot about the offensive line in our regular segment. So
let's get ready. Let's get ready for this 6-pack. What you have for us?
All right, gang, here we go. We didn't have a weekend of football, as we just mentioned. It was really depressing. Almost as depressing as the last game, but we
don't talk about that anymore.
That's moratorium on that game at this point, talking about it. All right, so here we go. We got 6 full beers. We got those beautiful cheeseburgers with condiments, by the way. So thank you very much to the graphics department, as well as that beautiful logo on said can of beer or bottle of beer. So again, like I said, not a whole lot going on football wise over this weekend, but I kind of looked at maybe 6 different things that could shape the 2025 season, or definitely will be the talk of the off season outside of the kingdom. There's no Chiefs material here, so we want to be full service here. There is 31 other teams. So let's start off with, one of Coach's favorite teams, the Cincinnati Bengals. They got some big decisions to make. They got arguably maybe not even arguably the best receiver in the NFL that they probably gonna have to break the bank to pay. Next, you got an elite pass rusher, led the league in sacks. Another big problem. Got to pay him. You got T. Higgins, where I was hearing some chatter before the show that perhaps they were going to tag him. We'll see. A second tag, it might be cheaper than tagging Hendrickson. I don't know, but that's a tough one to give up an elite pass rusher. If it's either or. To give up the elite pass rusher to go for another receiver. So, but no matter how this shakes out, it's going to make a difference in the league one way or the other. And it's certainly going to make a big difference to whether Cincinnati is going to contend next year. Second one, same division. You got Myles Garrett begging out of Cleveland, or, he put in his time. He's a pretty good soldier for most of the time there. Won some defensive player of the year. He's always been in the running for it, always leading in sacks, and he wants out. The Browns say no. Where's he going to go? How are they going to get this done? They've held on to Deshaun Watson. They've kind of got him like an albatross around their neck, and it's kind of killing their team. And this may be another piece of it, or basically the straw that breaks the camel's back if it's not already broken. So where's Myles Garrett end up? So that's another
the Chiefs uniform.
Yeah, well, hey, you never know. You never know. Can he play offensive tackle? He probably could.
No, but he could probably school an offensive tackle to play better.
He'd be better. He'd be better than anyone we have. So why not?
Clowning.
I'm gonna go back to the Cincinnati one. Henderson will be, and I think he's gonna be going back and go with the coach. Since the defensive coordinator went over there, he's going to be in a coach uniform. T. Higgins looked like if the rumors are true about Kyler Murray, you know what I mean, and Maybe he's over there with the Jets. I don't know. Maybe they swing a deal. He brings it.
And where did you get your information from? What rumor are you talking about, sir? Let me know. Let me know.
I don't know. Somehow that weaseled its way into the six pack.
It did.
We don't want to give Coach any more grist for the mill here, but sure, let's bring Kyler into this.
And he did it on purpose. And he definitely did it on purpose.
Of course he did. And Hensley just got that nice little, schoolboy grin on his face, but he's truly an assassin.
He's truly iron. You're right.
So, it is a six pack, so there's going to be quarterbacks, and the rest of them are quarterbacks. So we got the draft coming up. How is Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders going to kind of impact this season? Are they going to be top 5 picks? Is anybody going to fall in love with one of them and have to trade up to the top or close to the top to get one of the two? So a lot of question marks there. They're going to see throughout this process moving forward, all these guys get pushed up, but there's plenty of tape on both of them. They've been in college football forever, so we'll see what happens. But those two guys are definitely going to have a hand in kind of how things go this season. So that'll be interesting to see that.
That's tough, man.
Yeah, and again, I think they've shown enough that we know that they're not. I don't think they're regarded as elite prospects, but they're the best. I believe the best two at this point. Now we may see some different things, some guys that they haven't really seen a lot of, or perhaps they need to go back and review tape. I mean, the kid that was at Ohio State, the McCord that went from Ohio State to Syracuse, is he any good? The name that I keep seeing with some of these draft experts like Matt Miller and Louis Riddick, they're all talking about Tyler Shuck. He had transferred to Louisville, played there this year. A lot of physical skills, a lot of physical tools. That's a name that you might see, as we get to the combine. I'm sure he's going to throw, just to come because he's got to make a name for himself and get himself into that first round.
The last Louisville quarterback did pretty good in the NFL, so who knows?
But the crazy thing is, as far as that position, it's real thin. Ain't no big, ain't no guy that just ain't no must. Ain't no guy you be like, I got to get him in the first round. It's not one of them as far as at the QB position.
There are some guys that I think that have the tools, right? Like a Jalen Milroe definitely has the tools. Yeah. But that's going to be a guy.
Here we go, bow top tools. Same thing with your boy from the Colts. He has the tools.
You need a pretty specific.
Got to get the brains, my man. Got to have the brains.
Now Milroe played a lot more than Anthony Richardson. I mean, he's a lot more starts.
Kyler Murray got to get kneecaps.
Played in bigger games, but I think if he lands in the right situation, somebody that's willing to develop him and take their time, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah.
Who is the kid the kid from K-State that went to Ohio State?
Will Howard.
Will Howard. Okay, that's a guy
I could see him go in the third round easily.
He's just somebody that's kind of sneaky because I don't know that he was that highly regarded at K-State, even though he won a lot and he carried that team, but it was always more so his legs than it was his arm.
His arm was pretty.
I think what he showed in the playoffs this year, that run, maybe not leading up to it, maybe near the end of the Michigan game really was a lot of red flags. And I think that kind of struck him down a little bit. But the way he kind of rallied the team and got them to the national championship and he kind of helped them win it, I think that's going to bode well for him.
No, he's got a great arm. He had a lot of weapons, obviously, at Ohio State. He had a lot of weapons at Kansas State. He was virtually unstoppable at Kansas State. The problem was, the defense wasn't as good as it had been in the past. And him transferring out was kind of a shock. I don't think Kansas State felt like he was going to do that. But then he goes to Ohio State and proofs in the pudding. I mean, in the clutch time in the postseason, he was all nails. And I think he's moved himself into the third round. I really do. I think a team that's very offensive minded is going to be really strong. and taking a look at him. I think he'd be a solid 3rd round pick.
I think because it is wide open, if he has a solid combine, has a really good pro day, those shouldn't be things, but maybe it just gives some scouts pause to go back and like relook at film and tape and so forth. And, because the numbers are down, I think it might push him up. But I think
it just takes one team to fall in love with him.
Exactly. He's one guy that I think could probably develop. I liked Riley Leonard a lot at Duke.
Mm-hmm.
He used his legs so much at Notre Dame that, again, it's kind of like the Will Howard story a little bit, because it seemed he was more known for his legs than he was his arm. But he's a really smart kid, great basketball player. So he's got all sorts of athletic ability. Again, if you get him with the right quarterback coach and right system, who knows? I'm not saying he's going to be like an elite starter in the NFL, but he can certainly be a guy that is worth, a mid-round draft choice. So then you got 3 vets. There's probably more, but but 3 names that I think are going to be the most intriguing are Sam Darnold, Kirk Cousins, and if Matthew Stafford becomes available. Now you never know with the Rams. I mean, Matthew played great at the end of the season, and I've always loved the guy, the arm talent, everything about him, tough as nails, Texas kid, just a baller, right? I mean, there's no other way to say it. So if you had your choice of those 3, now age-wise, maybe Darnold would be the way to go, but Minnesota's got some questions. Do we keep him on a team-friendly deal? Got JJ waiting in the wings. Do we let Sam go and say, hey, we're going to go with JJ and like Daniel Jones is our like kind of plan C if everything goes wrong? So really interesting questions around him. And then Cousins, coming off the Achilles, he's not very mobile. I mean, you kind of have the Aaron Rodgers example. A little bit. Now, obviously, Kirk was never that mobile, or it's not an age thing with him, although he's in his mid-30s. Should be interesting to see where these guys land. So
I think Cousins ends up in with the Raiders. I think that would be a very smart place for him to go. I think it'd be very good for the Raiders organization to have a veteran quarterback. I still like J.J. McCarthy being traded to the Chargers for Justin Herbert. So we'll see.
Wow.
But
Nick's choosing the nuclear option.
The 2nd year in a row, I'm calling for that trade.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Jim's fallen in love with Justin Herbert.
It's going to be blind love.
They owe him a lot of money. That would be a lot of dead money to keep on just to get. I know. I'm sure he loves JJ just as much, but 2 different athletes completely.
I hear you.
I like Cousins going to the Raiders will be very interesting, man. I mean, he got veteran leadership, man. I'll trust Cousins over there. I'll trust Cousins go over there and take over that.
It's a stopgap.
Come over there. Yeah, he put he put a little seasoning on the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? Add a little spark to them. You know what I'm saying? And get a little competition. You know what I'm saying?
They got a high pick, so he could, like you said, he could be that bridge quarterback to whomever they draft if they can move. Again, they're sitting at 6.
He said a bridge quarterback.
I see if the Raiders sitting there at 6, I see them drafting a kid from Alabama. You know what I mean?
Who's that?
So then they would definitely want a veteran there to kind of
that's not a first-round guy, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know about a top 10. He could be a lower end first round. Again, in my opinion, I have no idea, but it just doesn't seem like he has all the tools like right now for somebody to pick him that high, unless it was a team like you say, the Raiders. If they were to sign Cousins in free agency, and then they say, you know what? We'll just, if they trade back a few spots or whatever, or just stay where they are and say, hey, we really like the kid. We know he's not ready, but in their minds, we're not going to pick here again. Let's take him now. So,
we'll see.
Yeah. So, but those are like just 6. There's going to be a hell of a lot more storylines, but just this weekend, this is kind of where I was looking at. And so chew on those for a little bit. Yeah, Matt. He's again. I think he's he got some age. I don't know. I didn't think they put Cooper Kupp out for trade.
that's
either.
true. I hope
So
Cooper ends up in Kansas City. That's all I got.
They've got a really young defense. I mean, they were a couple of plays away from winning.
You don't want Cup? You don't want Cooper Cup, man?
From beating the Eagles.
So Nick want Cooper Cup. Bo says no. Lou, what's your thoughts on Cooper Cup? Would you take Cooper Cup for the Chiefs?
I had to choose. I'd take Debo over him. So
we take
Debo.
Debo over Cup? Hell no. Hell no. I got Cup. Hell, you. I know you lying.
I'm just saying. Locker room crap. If Rice gonna be suspended, why not?
Thank Sinclair. Thank you, Sinclair. Yep. We're taking Cup. I don't know what he's tripping. I don't know what's going over there in the bow tie world.
You
gotta go with Cup, man.
In that vacuum, where it's one or the other, depends. I guess
Cup is versatile. Cup's a hell of a route runner too.
I think they would go with Cup just because now both of them have had their injuries and have their issues. Mm-hmm. So it's a tough one either way. Debo's a little bit younger. Mm-hmm. You probably get Cup cheaper.
Younger.
So that would.
But he doesn't get separation. And what are you gonna do with Debo? What you gonna do with Debo?
You're probably okay with the veteran if you draft another wide receiver in the top end of the top 3 rounds, and again, I think Rice. Maybe this. I don't. What is going on in Texas? Why aren't they adjudicated this already? What are they doing? Wow. Is anybody asking these questions? Why don't we know? What's the big deal? What's the holdup? So anyway, but if you think that he's only going to play half the season, but it's the back half, I think you're okay. So maybe the older guy's fine, just like on a 1-year deal.
He's not scheduled to go to court till April.
Kind of like they did with Hollywood.
Yeah, he's scheduled to go to court in April, but it's not 100% set. Remember, there's 2 cases. There's the civil suit, which will be settled probably out of court. And the other one is going to be what charges actually stick. Right. Is there probation involved?
Civil suit, I don't think we're worried about. He can't. Yeah. He's not going to miss time because of that.
The issue that's going to hang him up, potentially for a longer suspension is if indeed he fled the scene. And if he did flee the scene, the NFL is going to look at that like not taking responsibility. And again, he's got a great lawyer. He's very well connected in Dallas, PD and in the state. He's positioned very well. So if Rice has a chance, but it's also going to be a negotiation with the NFL, whether it's a 4-game or a 6-game suspension. I'm leaning more toward the 6, but I think the league is kind of, how do I put this kindly, kind of messed up a few of these for the Chiefs. And maybe
he fled Nick
on this one.
Yeah, I mean they didn't turn themselves in. That's one. But hey, maybe if the NFL officials get involved, they'll kind of rig it for the Chiefs.
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Okay,
I'm sure that'll be the narrative.
Like a guffaw or just like a fake laugh. Forget it. Yeah, all right, guys, that was your 6-pack for this week. Like I said, chew on those if you will. If you've got any comments, go ahead and leave them in the chat there, and we'll be sure to recognize your.
All I'm saying is bring on Cup. I don't care. Bring on Cup. Bring Cup to the kingdom.
We know one thing is for certain about. But hold on. Kingdom, sir. Hold on. There's one certainty for the Chiefs. Brendan Rice will not be a Chief next year.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
He lit it up this year, didn't he?
He did. Brendan Rice had at least over 1,800 yards receiving, about 14 touchdowns.
Hey, you never know. He probably
that's a good one, Nick. Hey, Nick, that's a good one because he was rising.
Picking Kyle Murray all the time.
Check those.
Good one, Nick. I appreciate that.
Check those UFL transactions.
All right, that starts in what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Crazy. All right.
Before we get into the nick of things of this offensive line, let's hear from Resale. Maybe Resale can fix it. They got all that.
Let's go.
They haven't fixed that cube yet. I'll tell you that.
They want to talk about our new sponsor, Resale Electronics. They buy and sell all of your consumer electronics. For more information, we're going to roll tape. Run it.
Save big on the hottest electronics. At Resale Electronics, we offer the best deals on new and pre-owned TVs, game consoles, cameras, plus so much more. with 2 convenient locations along Noland Road in Independence. Stop by and visit us today.
That's right. Resell Electronics, 2 great locations, Noland Road and 40 Highway in Independence. If you're looking to buy or sell any of your personal consumer electronics, they are your one-stop shop. You walk in, you tell them the guys at Chiefs Blitz and Bowtie Sports sent you, and they'll give you a 10% discount. Check out their website at resellwithac.electronics.com.
Resell.
That's right. We appreciate Resell Electronics very much for being our sponsor. And, of course, Underdog Fantasy. Check out UnderdogFantasy.com and use the promo code Chiefs Blitz. Play 5, and you can get up to $50 as well, plus some bonus opportunities. So with that said, we are at the meat of the show, and this is obviously a hot topic. The Chiefs 2025 offensive line.
Wow.
Right.
As I said
those
in my
those Roman numerals are throwing me, man.
Yeah. I wanted us all have to think today.
Yeah.
So before we look ahead, let's take a look back. Which is the worst of the 2 offensive lines? Super Bowl 50 against the Bucks, or Super Bowl Super Bowl 55.
I'm gonna say the Bucks, because they dog walk Mahomes. They dog walk that whole
but you
line.
had 3 injuries, so you gotta have to give it a little slack.
I mean, I get the injuries, but they got their asses kicked, man. That was the sacrifice of Mahomes that game. They whooped his ass, man. I never seen a man get folded so much. He got folded so much, man, and it was bad. It was bad, man. It was depressing. It was bad. It was bad. This one was more of a fundamental game with the Eagles. This was a slacking. This was just a beat down, man. I was like, hell, I'm gonna go Tampa Bay. I'm over Tampa Bay on this one. I go Tampa on this one, man.
Yeah, it's really hard to say because the result was the same. As far as, just talent of the guys that were playing on it, this team definitely is better. That the problem was you had Tooney playing out of position, but if you just take them individually, you still had Tooney, Creed, and Trey on the line, which you have 3 guys that are really good at their jobs. Whereas on that line, the guys that were left over, I don't know. I mean, who was playing that? I'm trying to remember who was playing guard. Who was playing? I can't even remember the guys
that bad. Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. It's that bad.
So there were older guys. I don't know if Allegretti was on the team at that point.
Yeah, I think Allegretti played. Obviously, Fisher, Schwartz, and
Wiley was in there for Wiley was in there for Schwartz. I couldn't even tell you who was in there for Fisher. So it's. Yeah, talent-wise, this one was better.
Here it is.
But the result was just as bad.
Yeah. Mike Remmers, Stefan Winooski, Austin Allegretti, and Andre Wiley.
And who are these people?
And
Allegretti and Wiley are both starting for the Commanders right now, Coach. So they were young. They were pretty young.
Mike Remmers was a former New York Giants offensive tackle. He was terrible. Stefan Wisniewski, I mean, it's kind of the end of his career, but he was terrific, and he was great in Super Bowl 54. He was outstanding on that offensive line then. So
yeah, he's kind of a mauler.
Yeah, he was.
Was he a former Raider?
Yeah, he played for like three or four different teams, and the Chiefs had tried to get him a couple of times, and they finally were able to. And I think my favorite thing with Wisniewski was, I think it was Super Bowl, the highlights or the backstory video of Super Bowl 54 when he was talking to Eric Fisher, and Eric said, "Just watch, just wait, you'll see."
Ruben said, "Veach can't let the franchise keep getting attacked like that, man." He said, "We can't let the franchise keep getting hit like that, getting a bus kick in the trenches, man. We can't keep having that, man."
I had to say the Eagles. This offensive line versus the Eagles. We knew going in that we all had to answer like, okay, put Joe.
I've been telling that.
Put Joe Tooney back at guard and put D.
Wait a second. We got to roll back videotape because all I kept hearing was Tooney's doing so great out there. Why would you move him?
Yeah,
I heard a lot. I heard a lot of that in this group.
Said that too.
Maybe I said that too. Well, but again, but my answer would be just a past Super Bowl. They got beat by 4-man. Some people were saying that them 4-man was, I heard around the kingdom and some fans and some people around the NFL said them 4-mans was juiced. They was juiced up.
Please, come on,
they said they had the flu. They had the flu, and now they was juiced up.
Yeah,
they probably was juiced up. You never know. Wow. You never know. They got the
dextrose is not a foreign bad substance. But, I listen. I agree.
That's what they got.
I think the Eagles the performance against the Eagles was disappointing. It was all 5 guys, and 3 of those guys, have a lot of NFL experience, and they didn't play well. Humphreys, Trey Smith, obviously, Juwan Taylor didn't play well. Caliendo just got beat up, and Athan just didn't have the leg drive or the strength to take on that onslaught. And a lot of it had to do. We talked about the last show was the way the Chiefs never adjusted to the spacing of the Eagles' 4-man pass rush and how spread out they were. And, they just didn't attack. So at the end of the day,
pork in them. Yeah.
There's not
59 line is worse.
Yeah. There's not a ton of adjustments to that, Nick. You just have to be quicker because you can't widen the splits because now your gaps are you're just opening yourself up in the middle. Those guys just have to be quicker because for that to work, you have to have guys with a ton of speed on the end because it's so much further to get to the quarterback.
Ooh,
but if you are dog walking the guy in front of you to the quarterback like they did on just about every passing play, that's how it works. And I don't know, are you guys familiar with Greg Cosell? Works at NFL Films. He does all the breaks down or whatever. I think his comment was the Chiefs had 3 guys out there that shouldn't be starting in the NFL. Tooney out of position, right? Caliendo shouldn't be on an NFL field starting, and I believe Juwan Taylor was the 3rd. Yeah. So I don't know. He's been doing it for 43 years. I'm not saying he's right. I'm saying he's wrong, but that was kind of his assessment after reviewing tape and everything else.
Man, I'm just say Nolan Smith and
I don't
Sweat.
think anybody disagrees.
Nolan Smith and Sweat, man, caught me off guard because they did work on them tackles, man.
Well, you can do,
like I said, it was just crazy.
You can do work when you get a needle this size. When you get a needle this size right up the cheeks, you maybe
all right, enough of that. Next topic. Come on.
He said right off the poot shooter.
Shante Ballard says is a sleeper pick. Donovan Jackson, Ohio State left tackle. Hey, I'll take anybody from Ohio State.
He's probably one of the top 5 or 6 defense or offensive linemen coming out in the draft. The big question with him is more so an injury. He started inside when they had injuries. He played left tackle. So he showed his versatility. So if he's right physically, that could be it.
It was that Space Jam juice. Listen, hey.
It was.
Oh my goodness.
But listen though. Can we give a shout out to Jeff University, man? I did research on this guy. That's the offensive line coach for the Eagles, and damn it, he can turn anybody into stout, into gladiators, man. Can he?
He's been there like 16 seasons.
Man, that man is a genius. He's probably the best offensive line coach in the league. That man is a genius, man.
Bring Casey Kelsey in as a consultant.
He's had a lot to work with.
God damn, I said if he ever leaves the Eagles, man.
Not questioning his coaching ability, but
that offensive line, he's doing work over there, bro. Malachi played rugby. He turned that man into one of the best left tackles in the league.
Right. That's really the only one is Jordan Mailata, who was part of the international player pathway. The rest of them were all high picks.
Right.
I mean, Dickerson and Lane Johnson, I think, was a top 10 pick.
Yeah, man.
Jurgens, I think, was either 2nd or 3rd. I see where you're coming from, though, Lou. I see trying to break it down, but he has got to be regarded. Right. He's got to be one of the top 1 or 2 offensive line coaches in the league for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's get into the next question, Nick. Go ahead and take that one.
All right. If They sign a young tackle. What position do the Chiefs have to sacrifice to make it happen?
All right, let's flip this a little bit. If they sign like a top dollar tackle,
Correct.
right? Like if they spend a ton of money on tackle, what position is sacrificed? Unfortunately, it may be number 65 at guard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
that's a given
because that money would kind of equate. You can't really say Bolton because the money is apples and oranges. I mean, it's not even close. So that's really it right there. And Wharton would not cost them nearly that much. So I don't think that the only way that matches up is, if they go with a high price tackle and it looks like Stanley's not in their plans, but somebody like a Stanley, the kid from LA, Alaric Jackson.
You got Tyron Smith, man. I mean, you got some guys.
Yeah, Tyron Smith. That would be like a Donovan. The guy that they got from Tampa, that would be like a 1 year thing. Smith is not a long-term fix.
Yeah, here are the top names. Cam Robinson, he's 29 years old. Ronnie Stanley's 30. Tyron Smith is 34. Cornelius Lucas is 33. Kelvin Beachum is 35. DJ Humphries is 31. And then you kind of get in the 20s, but you really don't know what you've got. Jackson Barton,
and the kid from the Browns has been decent.
Jerron Christian has been good.
Injury prone. Jedrick Wills.
Yeah.
But again, you're not talking about a top dollar guy. The guys that are going to command the big money are basically Stanley and Jackson. Maybe Dan Moore from Pittsburgh. He's young. Yeah. But I don't know how good he is. He's really going to command that kind of money.
Cam Robinson to me is the guy to get. I mean, I just think that, the Chiefs almost traded for him last year. Ultimately, Jacksonville didn't want to trade him to the AFC, so he goes to the Vikings. I think the Chiefs probably would have already extended him at this point. He was outstanding. Comes in.
He has a 70.4 grade. I mean,
well, that's probably 50 points higher than some of the grades that we've had. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's true.
Again, I mean, I think he's the guy, Jedrick Willis, has been outstanding. He could be a fix, but you're not going to get elite. You're going to get above serviceable and enough to be able to at least hold your ground in a heavy pass rush. And that's what you have to have. You have to assume that the Chiefs offense is going to change. So here are the contract projections. Lark Jackson, 14.5 over 4 years. Dan Moore, 13. Cam Robinson, 18. Jedrick Willis would be a 1 year.
Just looking at those numbers, that tells you a little something. Now, I don't know where
it does.
Those are PFF projections.
Yeah, that's per year.
Right.
Ruben.
It tells you that none of these players is regarded as an elite solution.
No, there's none of them are.
If they were, you'd be looking like in the high 20s, low 30s.
Yeah.
Now, there might be, I would imagine, with the fan base, a little PTSD with Juwan Taylor and Cam Robinson both coming from Jacksonville, playing on the same line and thinking, wait, were we?
That should be internal, but there you go. Yeah. I mean, Humphries
spelling is not our strong suit.
Yeah.
He just cheesing this shit.
I think we've seen the last of Wanye Morris. I really have.
I'm done.
I think he's gonna be at guard. Man.
No. If y'all put him, I mean, could y'all see him at guard though? Like left tackle, you gotta stretch your arms.
He's played it for the Chiefs, so a lot of that is going to hinge on what happens with Trey Smith, how they feel about Hunter Norzad, and where they feel like Kingsley is in his development. Do they think that another offseason that he's going to play better?
You'll see he'll in the depth chart, he's going to be moving to guard. He's not playing tackle anymore.
Man, the word serviceable just sound bad. Like, oh, he's a serviceable talent. Like, well, it's like,
but there's nothing elite out there. There's no unless you make a trade.
It's nothing. I'm like,
unless you're like
what do you do?
Howard Roseman, who goes in and just takes guys on other rosters that there were castaways, but you got to have an offensive line coach to develop them, and that's the other issue we talked about.
They're not exactly castaways either. I mean, they've drafted really well, but they somehow have found a way to pay 2 number 1 receivers, their quarterback, 2 or 3 of the offensive linemen, a couple of the defensive linemen.
Yeah, but a lot of that deferred money is going to hit this year and next year too. So it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
They can't get away with just $1 to $2, $3, $4 million paying these guys.
I get you. So you might see guys, like Josh Sweat probably becomes available, and some of those other guys.
Shantae said we need a running back that can actually make a difference, man.
But in terms of this question, if somehow you find a tackle that you like and you got to pay him like maybe top 10 tackle money, then the position that gets sacrificed is probably going to be Trey Smith.
Yeah, I don't think Trey Smith's coming back either way, and I'm not sure Thuney. He'd have to restructure his deal. And then brings the question, will the Chiefs tag Trey Smith? So I can just tell you from what I've heard, that has not been anything I've heard that they're going to do. It's $26 million or something like that to tag him as a starting guard. The Chiefs would have to carry that number. Now, they may tag him and then go into the first day or two of free agency or try to trade him before. And the only way they can do that is, one, they restructure Travis Kelce's contract if he comes back. Patrick Mahomes is $65 million. They can bring that number down to about 27 or 28 million from what I'm told. So they can convert the balance of that into a roster bonus and spread that over the next 5 years. But again, that's still a cap number they're going to have to carry. Plus he's got a $67 million cap hit next year. I mean, he's got 3 years straight in the 60s.
Yeah. That deal is designed to restructure regularly. Yeah. And that's something that Patrick had to agree to going in. And I'm sure he's glad to do it. But at some point, if he's running for his life, like, wait a second.
Well, the issue is
he's still getting the money. But I think he's at some point, don't you think he's going to get a little perturbed about what's happening with the O-line?
I think it's now. I think the way, just to kind of give people a little bit background on the initial contract before they pushed the money up front, it was generally thought after 2025 or 2026, they were going to tear it up and just write a new contract, which is probably still the plan, which would completely change, all these numbers. But, you're right. I think Patrick Mahomes is at a point where he's saying to these coaches and say, listen, you promised me you'd fix it after, Super Bowl 55, and you did. Now you got to promise me you're really going to fix it more permanently. If we can't keep Trey Smith, what's the plan? We don't have a left tackle. What's the plan? I think he has to feel comfortable in knowing what the actual plan is, and I'm sure internally. But I don't think they're going to tag him. I just don't think they can afford to tag him.
Why not? I would say why not? If you,
I would do it, but I don't know where the money's coming from.
You like I said last show, you'll stand Joe Thuney, give him another couple more years. He ain't shown no decline in his play. He's been playing very well. You restructure Patrick Mahomes' contract, and you let Travis Kelce's walk. You know what I mean, and save money there. If he don't come back, and you'll get Kyle Pitts.
Well, they're gonna save. Stop it. He sucks.
We'll get Kyle Pitts. Go get him.
No, I listen. I think the way you have to look at this.
Are you gonna say he suck if he on the Chiefs team?
Yes, he's gonna have to prove himself to me. He's gonna have to prove himself. If he proves himself, he's a wide receiver. He's not a very good one.
Say he suck.
Now, he plays in a really bad offensive system. It's not the place for him to have a good NFL career. And yes, in Kansas City, he'll probably put up a lot better numbers. But
yeah, I agree.
The point is, if you tag Trey Smith, and let's say there's 3 or 4 free agents the Chiefs want to sign. Let's say the Chiefs go all in. Let's say they pull a Howard Roseman deal and go, okay, we're going to go all in just to prove everybody that last year was a fluke, that we can win 3 out of 4 Super Bowls. And I you just don't know which way the Chiefs are going to go. And I think if you tag Smith, you better have a trade partner. He wants $105 million as a final number. 4 years spread out to $105 million. About $65 million, $70 million guaranteed. So if I'm the Chiefs, again, he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. He's the best guard available. He's 24, going to be 25 this year. He was a 6th round draft pick. He made next to nothing you know what? He's got his rings. Now he needs to go for the cash. And I don't blame him one bit if he takes an offer from the Bears, if he takes an offer from, the Commanders, wherever it is, he's going to get that kind of coin. The Chiefs just aren't going to pay it. It's just that simple.
The difficult thing is with the tag is that you can't massage that money, right?
No,
I mean,
it's
that's a straight number against the cap.
You restructure Mahomes and it's a wash.
No, you can't.
What's that?
I think you can massage money. You just roll it back.
Massage money in the cap. No, once it's a tag. Yeah, just like it was with
so basically, like wherever he's worked, when he's wanting, they're going to tag that price, right?
It's 25 or 26 million. I can't remember.
Right. If that number, that immediately goes against the cap. Whereas if it was a longer term deal, they could structure it in a way where a lot of that is a bonus, and that gets spread over the life of the deal. So that brings the cap number down.
Yeah, John Harrison is right. You don't tag Smith unless you have a trade in the works. And again, at the NFL Combines is when we're going to know what's going on with Trey Smith, because the wink conversations, the backdoor conversations, the what if scenarios are all played out. If if he lets the agent go out and negotiate a deal, then that doesn't mean the Chiefs aren't tampering. So like his L'Jarius Sneed's agent worked with 3 teams during the combine, and Titans ended up winning him. And the Chiefs ended up getting the first pick in the 3rd round for it. So the Chiefs win big time on that one. But listen, I love Trey Smith. I love the story. He's phenomenal. I'll set aside his Super Bowl performance. It's just one of those days. But the Chiefs got the most out of him for a 6th round pick, which allowed him to use that money elsewhere. And I don't think he's going to get paid.
I know about Trey Smith. Everybody's saying, I know I'd tag him. And I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be motivated for them to tag him. They're going to say, tag him, trade him away, give me more pieces, give me more where I can build around him. I think with Patrick Mahomes, that picture going around, oh, my God. Somebody put it in a frame, too. They had that picture in a frame when the Philadelphia, they was holding up at the parade with Patrick Mahomes getting the hands to the face and the hand going backward. So they're going to pay for that one. That picture, I hate seeing that goddamn picture. Because, if Patrick Mahomes, if he having motivated, I think he will be motivated to get him tagged and traded.
Hey, Lane Johnson was motivated too. They talking about no sacks. Last time they played, he said he give no sacks. You know what I'm saying? So they motivated. They was motivated too.
Where's the flag? Where are the flags on that one?
Yeah, I ain't talking about Super Bowl 54.
Jalen Carter should be in jail.
I'm just saying now. I mean, spade to spade. Yeah. Both sides are motivated though. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying. But now though, if Mahomes is motivated, I guess I know Mahomes is motivated, but is that offensive line motivated? You know what I'm saying? Let's build that up. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're motivated. They just need to upgrade the talent. I don't know. I don't think it's a motivation issue.
No, I don't think it is. I think the whole, the everybody against the Chiefs, the 3-peat. His grandfather has been sick, and I know Mahomes is too family oriented. That had to at least equate into some of his thoughts. And he's got a new baby. It was a perfect storm, and the storm blew against the Chiefs. And for him now is, he's going to take a few weeks off, and he's going to get back with Bobby Stroop, and he's going to work his tail off. I think he's going to be highly motivated to.
And it's been an offensive line with Bobby Stroop too. They didn't see everybody over there.
Bobby Stroop should be on the staff, period. But just look at what he's done for Mahomes and Bobby Witt Jr. Bobby didn't miss a game last year. You want a guy like that. And I think the reason that Patrick Mahomes may play, 12 or 14 years in the NFL is going to be because of Bobby Stroop. As his body adjusts to age. But I look at Mahomes like, screw this. I played terrible. He took the full responsibility. He didn't blame the offensive line. He didn't blame the receivers. He didn't blame the coaches, the lack of running game, nothing. He said it was all on him. I gave them, 14 points with the 2 interceptions, and that's just my bad. I can't make those mistakes. So listen, I think this is probably going to be the best thing that happens to the Chiefs organization if they play things right in March and in April in the draft. where I think they're going to come out of this in pretty good shape mentally and with a better roster if they make the right moves.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying on Friday in terms of the factor cap. This is going to be Brett Veach's biggest off season in his tenure, because this kind of will tell the tale probably for the next 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, you don't want to put like a ton of pressure on him, but he knows
pressure.
He knows better than anyone where this roster is right now and what he needs to fix. And it's got to be quick, and it's not easy ones, because really good young left tackles don't just fall out of trees. And if you draft one, you are taking a little bit of a chance. You hope they develop quickly. You hope they're able to adjust to the pro game quickly. But, case in point, last year, it didn't happen so quickly for Kingsley. We'll see if it happens for him moving forward. But he's got to get that fixed, because, again, he's got to be just like, oh, my God, I said never again. And here we are again.
Yeah, well, they're there.
With the offensive line.
And again, if they go the free agent route, they're getting solid guys. And that may be enough, for the left tackle. You may not get that elite tackle. But again, to me, Cam Robinson makes the most sense. And I would be surprised if I didn't hear the Chiefs associated with him in the first day of legal tampering.
To me, I think PFF might be a little off on their numbers.
I'm not a PFF guy. I'm just talking about overall.
No, but the scarcity of bodies at that position in free agency will it's just going to raise their contract, what their value is.
Yeah,
because there's just a few guys. And, with a couple of them, maybe 3 or 4 of them, you're rolling the dice, whether it's age and how long they last, or, are they really that good? So, yeah, you're going to have to do some scouting here. And again, the PTSD from Jawan Taylor is just that, because he's wearing that. He's got to eat that. Speaking of Brett Veach, and just feeling like he's not even a left tackle. They spent that much for a right tackle. And
that was the price of poker for right tackle.
Exactly. And that's just it. But he's had, you got to live with that. If he was playing at a high level, okay, sure, whatever, that's fine. But he's not. He's playing well. Maybe that's as well as he can play.
Fix his knee, get it scoped out, work his tail off in rehab, and come back knowing that if he wants to get paid in 2026, he has to have an amazing 2025 season. They're stuck with him one more year. So there's nothing we can do at right tackle unless he has knee surgery and it's severe and they could do an injury settlement. That's it. That's the only 2 options the Chiefs have with Jawan Taylor. They're stuck.
And I think a lot of this stuff will crystallize, like you said, Nick, right? Maybe around the combine, whether you start seeing things about perhaps signing contracts with some of the guys whose contracts are expiring. If they're saying, well, the hell with it, I don't want to hit the open market. And I'm talking like guys like Tershawn might be in that situation where he just says, I'd rather stay here, beforehand, and just that maybe he just doesn't feel the market's going to be much better for him out there. But if you're Trey Smith, you're, arguably the top free agent out there, especially if T. Higgins is off the market.
Even if he wants to stay. Yeah. Even if he wants to stay, guys,
this is your chance.
He's got to take a look
to break the bank. You got to go ahead and test the market.
Yeah.
That's why I said if T. Higgins gets tagged, then Trey Smith is the highest free agent out there. Why not the Chiefs tag him and get the most, hold him as a bargain charge? You better figure out this. I think that's what they're going to do anyway. They're going to tag him. Ain't no way I said let him walk out the building and get a 3rd round pick next year when you can actually fix your team this year.
Hey, Tom got a good question. He said, guys, honest question. Do you feel that Mahomes has regressed lately? His them just haven't been the same in the last couple years. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, the numbers are the numbers, right?
Yeah.
But I haven't seen anything in his play to tell me that he's regressed. I think the style of play is completely changed from when they were like playing games in the 30s rather than the 20s. So in those games, there was a necessity for him to strike quickly and strike often. When the team flipped to more of a defensive team, then it was okay. We really don't. Maybe we don't have the over the top ability, so we're going to dink and dunk. We're going to play ball control. A punt is not a bad thing. Our defense will get the ball back to us without the other team scoring. So, I don't think the ability has really changed or he's regressed. Now, what I will say is in games where he gets pressured a lot and a lot early, his mechanics do tend to get away from him a little bit and he starts anticipating pressure, but that's just being a human being. I think any quarterback, you've seen it through the years. And that's why Al Davis just famously used to say, the other team's quarterbacks got to go down. He's got to go down hard and he's got to go down early because that affects him. That affects him the rest of the game. So
Sinclair says this: Kelsey slowing down equals Mahomes slowing down. Which I thought on that.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, Kelsey still gets open, for the most part, and in most clutch times, he's there, and he does his job, and they have the communication. But, again, he's still the focal point of the offense, and that has to change. Even if he comes back, Kelsey can't be the number one option or the number two option. He needs to be the number three option. They have to develop a pair. They have to make sure that their wide receivers are more in play. They take more shots down the field. So, again.
And do you rip the Band-Aid off so that's not in Patrick's mind?
You got to rip the Band-Aid. You got to rip the Band-Aid off this offense. You can't keep dinking and dunking with Patrick Mahomes. You got to be a lot more aggressive down the field.
Well, I'm talking about just having Travis as kind of his safety blanket, just in the back of his mind. I think that goes into the way
safety. I agree.
He thinks. So maybe they kind of help Travis make this decision and say, I think, you've done enough. I mean,
I'm okay with him. I'm okay with it either way.
I'm okay. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it too, man. But my Mahomes is, to answer, I think
you guys say it all the time. He's staring down Kelsey too much.
Hey, dude.
Hey, if he's not on the team, then he can't do that anymore.
You stare down a guy that doesn't get open at will anymore, and you got other guys that has
so much he doesn't get open. He's just kind of slowed down.
He's not even open. He's still forcing the throw to him, man. It's other people that needs an opportunity.
But I think to a different degree, that's kind of like the Tyreek thing. It's like, okay, we get Tyreek goes away. He doesn't feel like I've got this number one receiver that has to get the ball 5-6 times a game. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but that sounds like
who knows. Maybe Tyreek will be available.
I look at it at this. I don't think Mahomes slowed down. I think it was Nagy. Nagy slowing down the offense. He's been the one since he came over here. The offense been ranking low, and we
score. He knocked out the park with that one. He did. He knocked out the park.
It ain't Mahomes. They need a better running game. Now they need a better running game to compound. But also the offensive line ain't been it well. And Kelsey, they said he slowed down. Yes, he did. But again, I know Nick don't want to hear it. I know he's tired of hearing it. But bring in the man. The man himself.
Oh,
Can we at least get a picture of Kyle Pitts and not this guy?
So listen though. Hey, Tom got a good point though. He said
the internet is vast. You'd think there's one picture of Kyle Pitts like on the field doing something.
Hey,
please help your husband put things in proper perspective when it comes to Kyle Pitts.
Hey, listen though. Tom had a good point. Tom said he got to get aggressive. He said at the end of the fourth quarter, that's the Mahomes and Chiefs we know. Throw the ball deep, stretch the field. Yeah. That's why we brought Worthy here to see that.
Rice was 25 to 30% of the offensive playbook.
Man, Rice was cooking. He was actually cooking.
Yeah, and he was playing well. So, listen, no more freak injuries. I think with Mahomes, I think his instincts in this game where he had several opportunities to throw the ball deep and he didn't. He just needs to gunsling it and see what happens.
Got to gunsling it. Yep. Let it rip.
Yeah. And then they got a tougher schedule coming up this year too. So
it's pretty brutal.
You win your
division. You want that.
You win your division. It's always going to be a tough schedule because you're playing all the division.
It's going to be difficult. It's going to be harder to win the division this year than any other year.
That's what we want, gentlemen.
That extra game that they get, they're not going to pick some patsy from the NFC.
It's the Eagles.
They pick the Lions.
Lions.
They play the NFC East.
Yeah,
the Lions and the Eagles. Lions and Eagles and Commanders are at home.
The extra game is Detroit.
Yeah, so, the only tough road game the Chiefs have is going to be at Buffalo, and
so you're playing Baltimore.
Tom said, "Let it rip."
Buffalo.
Brett Favre, he wanted them to Brett Favre. Let it rip, man. Let it go.
Playing Houston and all these teams that won their divisions, absolutely.
Yeah,
we'll
see.
It's I understand all that, but a lot of people don't
the schedule. I mean, they're the best team, in the AFC. Sure, you're going to play the best schedule.
I know. You're going to play the hardest schedule.
It's going to be a harder schedule, but I know Nick don't like it. He just, Cal Pitts is just the underdog, just like
God. Right now in Missouri. If you're looking for a great fantasy game, we've teamed up with UnderdogFantasy.com. You can play $5 and get $50. You can use the special promo code Chiefs Blitz. The game is available in 33 states. Check out the availability map. You must be 18, 19, or 21 years older to play, but it's an outstanding game. The app is very simple. You can deposit and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash for new customers, and make sure you use the Chiefs Blitz code, and so you can register to start playing this amazing game. Play Pick'em on Underdog. You can, with all your favorite NBA players, James, Curry, Ball, anybody and everybody who's in the NBA, you can play higher or lower. It is an amazing product. It's very simple to use. If I can do it, anybody can. And just make sure when you log on to UnderdogFantasy.com, make sure you use the code Chiefs Blitz. That's right, UnderdogFantasy.com. This is their availability map. You're going to have to be 18, 19, or 21 to play in certain states. But it's a terrific game. As mentioned, I play it all the time. You can win up to 1,000 times your money. Just play the pick game higher or lower. It's easy to use. And in Missouri, you get $5. Play 5, you get a $50 opportunity there to get some promotional funds into your account. So it's a great way to play, and you can bet on the NBA. You can play the NBA. You can play NASCAR. Pretty much everything. Pretty much everything and anything in regards to sports. They got a section for it.
I know you weren't expecting that. He said Cal Pitts is the underdog. Okay, I'll be along with it.
That was a good one.
All right, we have breaking news here. This is interesting. Hold on. The Jacksonville Jaguars announced they have signed wide receiver Reese Zammit to their active roster. Okay. I'm not sure why, and apparently it's as a running back. So who knows? Maybe he has 1,000 yards this year. So
new coach Liam Cohen looking for that kind of jack of all trades to play. Hey,
yeah, hey,
so that's really the only choice you have. Really, I mean, you got to bring him up to the regular roster if you don't want anybody else to grab them.
Yeah,
off the practice squad.
So what they said, do you have anything new for Chiefs Who? Is it, is it done? Is it going to be off-season Chiefs Who?
Well, I think Chief Who is going to take a break for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe around the combine or after the combine, we'll start to see maybe as new players are being signed and shuffled around. Sure. It's not going anywhere. It may change a little bit, but it's not going anywhere.
Sounds great.
So with that said, guys, we'll see you guys Wednesday, same time. Thank you guys for joining in. Thank you guys for commenting and leaving all your comments, and thank to everybody joining in, and enjoy your holiday today. It is President's Day.
That's right.
Enjoy your holiday, and enjoy, Cal Pitts coming to the Chiefs in the 3rd round pick. All right, guys.